walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harms. And you already know that that is entirely true. Because if I asked you to think of a tale of the danger of the wrong friend from your past, how long is it going to take? How many can you think of off the top of your head? You've already learnt from life that a McBuddy is for the moment. Health friends are for life. But what the heck does that mean? Well, we're going to ask a few people from the Survival Guide. And we're going to ask a guy from right at the very beginning there. We're going to talk to Moses. Now, this is the OG. There he is right there at his famous moment planting the world's first water feature. What a guy. He was born as a Jew, but then he was raised as an Egyptian. But then he found out that he was a Jew. And then he found an Egyptian beating up a Jew, and so he killed the Egyptian and he had to run away. And here's what he found out from all this. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Moses had two brothers. Well, he probably had a lot, but there are two that we know of that we can name. First of all, there was Ramses. Now, he was one of the probably many kids that were part of this royal family. Now, he was pretty much like Moses' brother. And yet, when Moses gets caught committing a crime, does Ramses come into the rescue? I'll get you a lawyer. Nope. Does he stop him running away? Moses, you don't have to do this. Nope. When he finds out that Moses has ran away, does he send an expedition after him to bring him back and look after him? Nope. What is Ramses' response to Moses running away? That's it. But then Moses, after living out of the country for ages, gets sent back by God. He finds that he has a brother. An actual, not from another mother brother. This is a brother who was actually born from the same family. This is a guy called Aaron. Now, he was completely different because Moses relied on Aaron completely. See, Moses did the miracles. But as he said himself, he had a speech impediment. So it may well be that a lot of the stuff that Moses is recorded as saying in here, Moses didn't actually say. Aaron said it for him. Aaron couldn't do miracles. Aaron couldn't lead the people. Moses could do that kind of stuff. But Moses couldn't give the instructions. Moses couldn't speak publicly very well. So Aaron did that for him. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Let's talk about Jesus and the two guys at the side of him, John and Judas. Can you figure out which is which? You see, Judas had the best friend, teacher, mentor, influence that anyone could ever have, and yet still he stabbed him in the back. There's a lesson in that. Sometimes you can do everything you can for a person. Sometimes you can be perfect in every way that you treat them, and yet still they stab you in the back. Don't beat yourself up. There's only so much you can do to influence the people around you. In the end, they've got to make their own choices. But it goes further than that. See, a long time before Judas betrayed Jesus, he was stealing from him. Judas was stealing from the disciples, and Jesus knew, and yet he kept him around. Why? Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him, and he washed his feet. Why? Well, it all comes down to this. You see, when they betray you, that's who they are. But how you respond is who you are. Never let someone else's behavior decide your character, because that's how they can drag you down to become the bad guy. And then you have to deal with all the things that you do that you didn't want to do, but they made me do it. Look what you made me do. No one makes you do anything. They can influence you to make choices, but who's influencing you? Well, that's a choice for you to make. When they betray you, that's who they are. But how you respond is who you are. And besides, maybe you're expecting too much from some of the people in your life, because it's true that sometimes you need a good friend. Sometimes you need someone who's going to be there for you no matter what and be a great influence on you. But sometimes you're called to be one. Sometimes you're called to be that friend for someone who needs you. And sometimes it's not mutual. Sometimes you're the good one in the relationship. You're great for them and they're terrible for you. Is that fair? Should we have to have relationships like that? Well, sometimes you know this. You need someone to be there for you and to pick you up and help you out when you're just being an absolute horror show to everyone around you, right? You've been there. Yeah, well, other people need that from you too. Could you be the bigger one? Could you be the person who's the positive influence on them, even if you know that in the end, they're never going to give it back? They're going to be a Judas. They're never going to earn it back. Would you be a Jesus in that situation and just be there for them anyway? Let's talk about John. Right now, I don't know if he actually owned a pair of headphones, but we do know that he described himself as the one Jesus loved. Has he got a big head? I mean, do you have people in your life who think an awful lot of themselves? Maybe that's John. But actually, he wasn't far wrong. At the cross, Jesus said to John, "This is my mum. Now she's yours." And said to his mum, "This is John. He's now your son. Mum, John's going to look after you now." How huge is that? How much would you have to trust someone to give your mum to them to look after? It may be that John wasn't all that wrong, that he really was one that Jesus loved. And if you want to know why, just look at the fact that John and his mum were at the cross, and none of the other male disciples were. The rest of them ran away and hid, but John stayed. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. I think you've got a really good picture of these two different friends in Jesus' life, and you might be wanting to say friends with regards to Judas, right? We all know some people are better friends than others. We all know that. We are all wrong. Feel me on this, okay? Why on earth did Jesus keep Judas around? Knowing that he was stealing from him, knowing he was going to betray him, why did he keep him around? Well, because Judas had a job to do. And Jesus was never going to get to where he was going unless Judas did the terrible thing that he was destined to do. Everyone in your life has a job to do. Sometimes you'll like it, sometimes you'll appreciate it, sometimes you won't, but they're all valuable because they're all playing a vital role in your life. So to refer to some as good people and some as bad people, that's just wrong. Jesus didn't do that. Jesus treated Judas like a friend right up until the very end. It's when we come to misassigning roles to the people in our lives, that's when we create opportunities to get hurt. It's when we trust the people that we shouldn't. It's when we put people in positions in our lives that they're just not suited to fulfill. That's when we get hurt. Not simply that some people are good people and some people are bad people. I don't think it's quite that simple. I think it's more a case that a McBuddy is for the moment, but health friends are for life. What on earth does that mean? Let's explain this. A McBuddy is someone who's in your life because they're convenient. They're just kind of there. You look around and they're just there. So you hang out with them. They're fun. They're entertaining. They're low maintenance, but they're not very good for you. They don't pick you up. They don't raise you up and challenge you to be a better person. We've all got them in our lives. Sometimes it's the person who you go to work with, the person that's just in the same office as you. You know, they're just around. You need company and they're just there. And it's easy to hang out with them. It's low maintenance, but are they good for you? Well, that's a different question. There are some people you hang out with and they're a load of fun, but you know they're probably a bad influence on you. They're there for the moment. They're there for that time. But a health friend is for life. And this is someone who their relationship takes effort. You got to put some work in. It's not always fun. They might not live next door to you. You might have to travel to go and see them. But the thing is, they're always good for you. They're always putting something positive into your life. Sometimes the healthiest people in your life live the furthest away and you just want someone to go and have a drink with. Neither of these kinds of friend are bad. It's just when we misassign people, when we expect too much from some and too little from others, that's when we get hurt. That's when we get disappointed. That's when we misdirect attention and we give too much attention to the people who it's easy to hang out with and too little attention to those it's good for us to hang out with. So I want to help you know which is which out of the people in your life, because you probably have a mixture of all kinds. So let's look at how to tell who are the McBuddies and who are the health friends, remembering that neither of those are bad. So here's a few simple questions for you. Okay, so one, ask of any particular person in your life, what's the main reason they're in my life? Is it just because I see them regularly? Is it because they're just really funny and I always feel a bit better when I've hung out with them for 5 minutes? Or is it because I really trust them? This is a person I can tell my deepest secrets and worries to. And then here's a question. If I moved away, would I travel to see them? And that's a really easy way for you to put into perspective who are the people who really matter and who are the people who hanging out with them matters, but they don't so much. Some people we click with on a really, really deep level, but some people, they're a Ramses. We live in the same house as them, we live in the same stage of life as them, but after a while we're going to move apart. And honestly, I wouldn't travel to see them because we weren't that close. I've suddenly realised we weren't actually that close. Out of 1 to 10, how much would I trust them to keep a secret? Now, again, this is not about throwing out of your life the people who you know would blab it all over town. You need people in your life who are just fun, people who are just gonna help you laugh off a bad day. That's okay. It's just that's the role they've got to play. You get hurt when you trust people who are fun with a secret, but you need people in your life who you would trust with your darkest worries and fears. You need all these kinds of people in your life, and this is one question that shows you these are the people in my life that I can trust. And then your next question is this: how often do they make me laugh? And again, you don't throw people out of your life because they're a bit dull. It's okay. We all need people who are a bit dull. We need people to ground us. We need people to have serious conversations with. But you do need those people who are fun. So let's find them. Okay, go through the people in your life, the people who you spend a lot of time with. How often do they make you laugh? Because you do need to laugh. And then here's the thing. List the things you do together. Just make a list. With this person, these are the things I do with that person. Okay, so now you're creating this idea of this is what my relationship looks like with that person. This is what my relationship with that person is all about. And then ask this. List the things you wouldn't do with them. Because now you're finding the boundaries of that relationship. And this is helping you to make sure that I can do this with this person, but I wouldn't do it with that person. And ask yourself, why not? And now what you're doing is, you're starting to see the people in your life, but you're starting to see the gaps. You're starting to see what you're missing. You're starting to see the things that are good and the things that you need to do a bit of building up with. And this is it. This is the list of questions. It's really simple. It's really straightforward. Just ask, with every person in your life, what's the main reason they're in my life? If I moved away, would I travel to see them? How much would I trust them with a secret? How often do they make me laugh? List things that you would do with them, and then list the things that you wouldn't do with them. And then ask, why wouldn't I? Is it because I don't trust them? Is it because I don't trust myself when I'm around them? I don't know. This is not about judging your friends. This is not about that at all. And again, if someone fails to meet up to any one of these questions, you don't throw them out your life. It's just about seeing where's the balance in your life. Who are you spending time with? And is it healthy for you to be doing that? And I'm going to put this out there. The more you're struggling to find good people, the more you should ask these questions of the people in your life. The more you're getting hurt, the more you're getting let down, the more you're finding that you can't trust anybody, the more you need to ask these questions. And then you ask one final question, which is this: what sort of people am I missing? Are you missing people who are trusted? Are you missing companions in your life? Have you got lots of people who you can trust them and you can have great fun with them, but they live the other side of the country and you find you're lonely most of the time? Everyone in your life is valuable for a reason. But the problem comes when you trust people because they're good entertainers. The problem comes when you don't spend enough time with trustworthy people because they don't make you laugh as much as the other guys. Good life means a balanced life. And a balanced life comes in knowing that a McBuddy is for the moment, but health friends are for life. Judas was a challenge to love at times, I'm guessing. But here's the thing, he was surrounded by great people. He was surrounded by the greatest person who ever lived. And that fed into his life and that built him up. And that at least gave him a chance of being the best person that he could be. He also played a very important role, and it was a terrible role. And it's a role that none of the other disciples could have played. And Ramses, growing up with Moses, that's a role that Aaron couldn't have played. You see, everyone in your life has a role. The problem comes when you mix them up. Imagine if Jesus had given his mother to Judas to look after. How's that going to end? Everybody in your life is valuable equally. This is not an excuse to use and abuse people, to say, oh, you're good for fun and then I'm going to throw you away. I'm not saying that at all. Because remember, you are a McBuddy or a health friend in the lives of people around you. And you're probably the entertainment to some people, but you're the trusted confidant to someone else. Peace comes when you know the role you're assigning to people. Who are the Judases in your life? Don't hate them. They're there for a reason. Who are the Johns in your life? Don't mistreat them, because they'll be there for you no matter what. A friend loves at all times, good and bad. And a brother is born for adversity. And life is full of adversity. And there are people that God's putting in your path for one reason or another. Sometimes it's easy to appreciate them. Sometimes it isn't. But don't be the bad guy and throw people out because they're not fulfilling a specific role that you think they should fulfill. Find out what role they're designed to fulfill.